Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. Today, gentlemen, you will be making Ben Abbott's favorite blade. And that blade is the Celtic ring knife.
I am a little bit nervous that it's going to be Ben Abbott's signature blade.
That is a wrought iron chain and some high carbon steel. You'll use the San-My technique to forge your Celtic ring knives. Your 3 hours starts now. So these guys each have these 2 links of wrought iron chain. They're back there. It looks like they're cutting them up together and divvying them up. Now, our high carbon steel, what type of steel is that?
It's 1095.
I feel like I need to get my blade shaped before I start the forge weld. So I'm going to get it to where about the length that I want. By then, I should have my wrought iron heated up enough to form it into a V shape.
I think it's a lot harder to fold a piece of steel like that than people think that it is.
Yeah. Biggest challenge is that wrought iron. And then going back and forth from one billet to the next. And don't forget, you know, I got something cooking.
I've worked a little bit with the San-My technique, not a whole lot, but I get the gist of it. It's hot!
So I've got my mild steel all into the right shape, and I got my high carbon steel to the correct length. It doesn't fit.
Jason's not made a whole lot of progress.
I'm hoping he's just consolidating his ideas and gonna just leap ahead.
My forging technique is pretty slow.
Sean's forge weld is set.
I start shaping the tip end first, working myself towards the handle, constantly trying to check the length of it.
Right now, I'm trying to get my handle position set so I can figure out where to put the ring.
Bladesmiths! 1 hour has elapsed!
So I get my billet where I want it. But every time I tried to put the 1095 core into the taco, it would either pop out the other end, it wasn't level. I tried it upside down, that didn't work. I tried it on the floor, that didn't work.
He's got a cold piece of wrought iron and a hot piece of steel.
Yeah, you need to go the other direction with that. Hot wrought iron, cold
Yeah,
steel.
because that way, if it has a twist or whatever, you can use the cold steel to straighten it up and make everything right and tight.
Finally, I got it sandwiched. I know I didn't get the whole spine, but it's San-My.
It's like he's made a 1095 blade and stapled a little wrought iron to it.
Man, look at Sean. He's drifting the hole or the ring into his blade.
The ring is giving me a little bit of problems trying to get it the right size, the right shape, and maintain the integrity of the steel around it.
I cannot get this piece of mild steel to weld to the high carbon steel in any way.
It's always a good idea to MIG weld both ends and a couple of places along the edge so things don't move.
So I welded both sides of this knife, and it's finally sticking. And I'm just trying to get some sort of basic shape. So I put everything I have left in me into that billet.
Jody is starting to drift the hole into his blade.
I knew that the hole was going to be an issue.
I'm really focused on maintaining this hole because if you expand too much, beyond 1.25 inches, you're done.
30 minutes, Bladesmiths! You got it, fellas. Stay in the fight!
All right.
When I pull the knife out of the quench, I realize I've got a pretty good warp.
Hey. That's a lot of motion.
There's a small window there where you do have some flexibility. It can be pretty risky because if you drop below a certain temperature, you snap your blade.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Jason is really making a comeback.
For a guy that, honestly, I was worried that it was about to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
He really regrouped.
I almost gave up, but I've produced a blade when in my mind I was done. I may actually have a chance.
Right now, I'm so close to meeting all the parameters. The only issue I'm having is my width. So I'm about 1/8 of an inch off. I think I can pull enough steel up from the handle.
He's chasing this width, and it's just not there. So he's really thinned out his material right there at where the handle meets the blade.
I'll take it.
5, 1. All right, Bladesmiths, good job. This first round of competition is over. All right, Bladesmiths. Now it's time for the judges to take a closer look at your work. Sean, you're up first. Please present your blade to the judges.
All right, Sean. Overall, I love the profile of your blade. Definitely looks like it's ready for action. On the other hand, the handle, because of its length, it's going to slide around. The purpose of the ring is to act as an anchor. So if I slide up here, there's nothing to anchor that.
Well, Sean, I've noticed it's got a pretty serious warp kind of kicking off that way, but I think it's not something that's beyond fixing.
Thank you.
Jason, please present your blade to the judges.
I like that a lot. That profile's really nice. It's almost there. A lot of refinement to do, but what I like is that you've left yourself enough material to do those refinements. There's some issues with some delaminations up here on your edge. I'm hoping that those are just on your edge, and if you lose a little bit more of that, we'll be in good shape. Good job.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jody, you're up. Please present your blade to the judges.
Well, Jody, the first thing I notice when I pick up this knife is it's really lean. I saw your tactic of using as little of the wrought iron as you had to, but I think doing that, you sacrificed some of the mass you could have had. One thing that is of some concern is there's a pretty decent warp on here. You know, you can see when you hit it from either side, but it's something that can be taken out. In general, I mean, it's solid. The welds look to be pretty solid, so nicely done.
Aaron, you had some trouble out there. Your blade doesn't have a ring. There's no defined blade shape. Your forge welds haven't been set. You worked until the very last minute, but I'm not gonna ask you to present your blade to the judges. You understand why?
I do.
Nobody's here to tear you down. Just to show up here in the forge is an accomplishment. But at this time, I have to ask you to please surrender your steel and leave the forge.
The biggest thing that I learned from this competition was that I need to take my time, and I need not to rush through all of my tasks and try to get to the next one. From here, I take all of the lessons I have learned and I grow from them. And hopefully, one day, I'll be back.